Hey everybody, my name's Terrence. I'm here with Titus Adventure Company. I'm going to be giving you an orientation on our 4Runner Charlie. This video is not meant to take the place of the in-person orientation you're going to get when you come to pick up one of your 4Runners for your next adventure. I'm just here to give you all the details on our 4Runner fleet, show you everything we include in these vehicles, show you what they have in terms of capabilities. When you come to pick this vehicle up, we're going to give you one set of keys. This one here is for our 4Runner Charlie. Currently have 4 of these 4Runners in our fleet: Charlie, Hank, Lyle, and Taylor. So all of them extremely similar. They all come with the same gear and they all have the same build out. So one of the first things I'll point out before even opening the rear hatch is that we have a full-size spare tire underneath the rear of the car. And we also have a hitch step right here so you can step up to open the rooftop tent. Sweet. So taking a look in the back of the 4Runner, what we've done here is installed a ARB drawer system, and we also have a fridge on top. So this drawer system, we have the right side slides open. We have a little sliding table. The left side also slides open. And the fridge is also on a slide, and that'll make things easy for you to either load up the fridge or use this area as a food prep space. So everything you see in the back of Charlie here comes standard with all of our rentals, and you do have the option to eliminate some of these things if you want to bring your own gear. So everything here is standard, and let me walk you through what we've got. So on this deeper side, the passenger side, we've got a 2-burner stove. We're gonna send you out with some propane, French press, a Yeti mug per person on your trip. We've got a frying pan. We've got plates, bowls, cups, and a pot set. This has 2 pots, a pan, and 2 lids. And this all slides right back in. Sometimes you gotta give it a little hip check to get it into place. On the driver's side, we've got kind of our utensil organizer. Again, everything is standard. We've got 2 forks, 2 knives, spoons, tongs, a chef's knife, serving utensils, spatula, spoon, tongs right there. We've got a sponge, soap, scraper, dish rag, as well as a lighter, propane regulator, pot grips, salt, pepper, and can opener and wine opener. And we think this is pretty darn organized when we send it out with you, but feel free to rearrange everything to your liking while you're on your trip. Some of the other gear that we send out standard with all of our SUV trips are gonna live on the passenger side back here. I kind of refer to these as the earthly tools. These are the things that are usually gonna be touching the ground for you. So we've got a ground mat right here. I like laying it down in my kitchen area, keep the dust down. We've got leveling blocks. So when you get to camp, you can drive these up, drive your car up on that and have a nice flat sleeping surface. Got a dustpan and broom. We don't expect you to clean the truck out for us when you bring it back, but just in case you need to, you're on a longer trip and you want to keep it pretty tidy. We've got a folding shovel and a folding saw. And then back in here, we've got a tool roll in case anything comes up that you need to work on, a battery jumper, and a first aid kit, standard in all of our vehicles. So one other thing we'll point out at the back of the 4Runner here, comes pretty standard in all the TRD off-road models. We've got some power outlets here. These are pretty sweet if you're bringing heavy-duty camera equipment or a laptop that you want to charge while you're on your trip. This would be a great place to plug that in, and I'll show you where the button is up by the steering wheel to get power coming back here. For smaller devices, we do have some USB outlets on this side right here, which will be on all the time, and this will be a great place to plug in when you get to camp and you're doing your food prep and you just want to charge your phone. Just right there. One of the coolest features of all of our SUVs is they all come with one of these Dometic electric coolers. We call them a fridge. Same purpose. It's an electronic way to keep all your food, all your drinks cool without having the inconvenience of ice or soggy stuff. So Let me tell you a little bit about how this works. Again, the whole fridge is on a slide. That makes it super easy for loading and unloading. You get to the grocery store, you pull this right out, you put all your cold food inside, and it just stays cold. You can set the temperature to anything you like. Currently got it set to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And for our European customers, this can easily switch over to Celsius if you're more familiar with that. This is the entire user interface right here. One cool feature is you can plug a USB cord into here, charge your phone. We've also got the outlets to the side. On this screen, we can see a couple useful bits of information. So up top, we have voltage. That's just showing how much power the fridge is pulling from the batteries in the vehicle. We have the display temperature. That's what the temperature currently is. And then you can also set the temperature by pressing OK and choosing the temperature you want to set it to. So we can switch it to 35. And the fridge is now going to work to cool itself down. You can tell the fridge is working or that its compressor is on when you see that little white dot in the bottom right corner. When you see that, that means the fridge is pulling more voltage and it's also working harder to cool stuff down. So you'll hear that kick on a bunch when you're out there on summer days in the desert. When I slide this fridge back in, I like to remind people that there is a cable in the back that you should at least have an eye on, or just remember that it's there. It does sometimes have the tendency to get caught in the sliding drawer system. So we've zip tied that as best as we can, but sometimes it comes loose when you're driving down a bumpy road. So just taking an eye, making sure it doesn't get caught in the slide, and slide it right back into place. One other thing I'm gonna point out at the back of the truck here is we've got this little panel. This is Toyota 4Runner standard. This is where all the equipment lives, your bottle jack and your tools to drop the spare tire underneath the vehicle. That's where all that equipment's gonna live. Now that we're done with the back of the 4Runner here, I'm gonna show you our rooftop tent. Let me tell you a little bit about this rooftop tent we have here. We know that there's tons of rooftop tents on the market, and you really can get some analysis paralysis making a decision on which rooftop tent is most suitable for you. We've chosen to go with these Alucab rooftop tents across our fleet of 4Runners for a number of reasons. They're extremely durable, they're high quality, and we can also easily replace a bunch of the high touch parts just to make sure that we're giving our customers the highest quality of equipment that is available. Super simple. Another thing about these, it takes about 30 seconds, maybe a minute to set the entire thing up. I'm gonna go through the process here and show you how it's done. Nice. Once those latches are off, I'm just gonna put my elbows right down here and prop that up. So that popped up super easily. We've got gas springs on either side of the rooftop tent that'll help assist with setting it up. Got this elastic band right here. Main purpose of this is when you're putting the tent away, the elastic band pulls all the material to the inside. But when we're setting the tent up, I'm gonna bring this down below our roof rack just to make as much space as possible. This orange and black Alucab handle is gonna come in handy when we wanna put this away. But for right now, we can kind of just push it off to the side or ignore it. And then in all of our rooftop tents, we've got 2 metal poles. And these guys are here to help us set up this little awning. That'll give you a little shade when it's sunny or a little cover if it's raining. One other thing I'm gonna point out from the back here is we do have our ladder. So I'm gonna pull this out and step down. We're gonna set the ladder up on the passenger side of the vehicle. When you come to pick your vehicle up, we're gonna typically have this ladder in a ladder bag up in the rooftop tent. And another nice thing about these alu cabs is you can kind of stuff them full of gear. So we can put the ladder, we can put pillows, the sleeping bag, all that stuff can live up there, which is a benefit of the alu cabs compared to other stuff like iCampers, where you pretty much have to take everything out of there. The ladder will live up top, but if you prefer to have it live in the back seat while you're on your trip, do whatever feels good to you. But let me show you how this all works. Open the ladder bag, take the ladder out. I'm gonna stuff this somewhere I can't lose it, right in the back seat. And then we've got this clipped together. If you're looking at the ladder, you're gonna notice there's a fixed nub over here. And then on the opposite side, we've got this moving little toggly bit. So what I'm gonna do first is just extend that first rung of the ladder. And I'm gonna turn it to face the vehicle. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have this fixed nub go in this small hole towards the rear, and this movie bit go in that bigger hole there. So I'm gonna slide it right in. And this is gonna lock into place. Then from there, I'm gonna extend the ladder completely. Ladder's extended completely. This is a mistake we see people make sometimes, is either they'll leave it fully extended or they'll only extend it until it hits the ground. What we want to do is extend it completely, and then we're gonna adjust it from the top. So the way we do that is we've got these two toggles on either side. We're gonna push them in simultaneously and push it up. We're gonna go one more time. Nice. And we want to leave just enough room so you can move your hand behind the ladder, also making sure it's in place. And we just don't want the ladder hitting the side of the vehicle. So what you're seeing in the rooftop tent is we've got a full-size bed. It's got a pretty thick cushion. We're also going to send you out with a sleeping bag. We've got it set up with a two-person sleeping bag. We can substitute that for two one-person sleeping bags as well. And then directly over the front of the tent, we've got 6 pockets. One of them currently has a light string in it, so that'll help keep the tent nice and bright with some fairy lights at night. And you can also just store any of your gear in those pockets. So here's our little light string. Got a power button, just gonna turn that on. That'll turn some lights on inside. Send you out with a pillow per person and a sleeping bag, as I mentioned earlier. One other thing is all of these windows have a couple different settings. We can either have it completely blacked out, or we can have screens on all the sides. And I would just warn you, if you go for the blackout option on all the windows, you will find that you will sleep well into the day. So try and leave yourself a little bit of light. One other cool feature is we've got a little vent right at the top. Just keep a little fresh air flowing. Next step is we're gonna put the ladder away. We're gonna put the rooftop tent away and show you a couple other features here. So taking the ladder down, what we're gonna do is pull this toggle up so we can remove the ladder entirely. And then we're going to push these little nubs in from the side all the way down. Gonna use this strap here and then get our ladder bag. It's probably where I look the most uncoordinated. Putting this ladder away. And then right here, I'm gonna step back on the hitch step, toss that completely inside. Continuing the process of putting everything away, I'm gonna grab the bag for these poles. Take the poles down one at a time. stick these back in here somewhere I can reach them easily. And then I'm gonna grab this elastic band again. And try and get this as high up as I can. And then this black and orange handle, you actually got to put quite a bit of body weight into this. So I'm going to pull it back pretty good and then work my way up. Once this is a majority of the way down, I'm going to stick my hands on the side and sweep as much of this material in as I can on both sides. If you got a camping buddy, this would be a great time to have them walk around and try and stuff any extra material in that they can grab. I'm gonna put a little bit of weight onto this, latch it down. Same on this side, latch it down, and then the two carabiners are gonna go right into place. If you've seen some of our other orientation videos, you might be aware that I'm about to show you my favorite part of all of our SUVs. That is our hidden table. So we do have a hidden table on pretty much all of our SUVs. We've got it tucked away up here. And I think I like this so much because it utilizes space that you would utilize for nothing else. So just unused space put to good use. We've got it cam strapped in here just for a little extra security. Slides out. Make sure you don't hit the car or your head or your friend. I'm gonna put that up on my feet here, pull these legs out, and then just prop it up. So this table is great. You do some food prep right here or right here. You could serve your group on this table. Just a nice piece of equipment we like to have on our vehicles. Moving around to the driver's side of the vehicle, another one of my favorite items is our alu-cab awning. These things are sweet, super durable. What we've done is we put a little piece of orange cord on one of the zippers. This is a zipper we like to have people use. We're gonna just unzip this the whole way. Make sure that bag gets completely opened. I'm gonna move the bag as out of the way as I can. And we've got these two black straps. I'm also gonna get out of the way. They do have a mind of their own, nice. Second one over here, this one better behave. Great, love it. And then we're gonna let the awning drop down here. The awning has 3 support poles, 1, 2, and occasionally you have to manually bring the third one out. Once all 3 of those are out, I'm gonna take this black and orange alu-cab strap and swing it to the outside here. Watch your head. We're gonna slide that in from the side. Once that's in there, we're gonna tighten this little strap. If it's raining or you wanna just get a little extra space, we've got one of these arms right there. And then one last thing that we did to try and think of everything you're gonna encounter is put a little bit of cushioning, a little bit of Velcro right there. That way you can still open the rear hatch and get access inside. Make sure you watch your head. Putting the 270-degree awning away, we're just gonna do everything in reverse. So I'm gonna drop this arm. I'm gonna loosen this cam strap here all the way, and then I'm gonna slide it out from the side. Watch your head. Just gonna push everything back into its little home. And then I'm gonna go down to the lowest point on the awning here and start wrapping up. making sure to tuck all the material in as we go. This doesn't have to be super tight, but the more compact you can make it, the easier it'll be zipping this all away. So once that's all tucked right there, we're gonna drop these straps again. And these are just little C clips, and they just slot right into place there. Then we're gonna get the bag back into a comfortable resting place. And then we're gonna use that one zipper with the orange paracord to zip it back into place. Putting the table away and drop it back onto my feet here. Hit these little supports back into place. And then for this particular table, the legs are gonna go facing the ground when it goes back in. Get this over my head. Slide it into place. And then it's reached its stopping point, and I'm not gonna push it any further. I'm gonna use this cam strap right back in there. And then you can even tuck this away. A couple other things back here. We've got some extra USB ports just in the back in case you're maxed out up front or you've got a crew of folks with you on your trip. Also feel free to put any of your gear back here. Some people like putting the seats down. It just feels like there's a little extra room, so I'm gonna show you how to do that. Got these little handles by the butt of the seat. Push that forward. The headrests do drop down, and then there's a little button on the side right next to the headrest. You push that in, and these seats will fold completely flat. Same with these double seats here on the passenger side, but you've also got a little armrest and cup holder. A little more spacious back here. When you're up here in the driver's seat, got two knobs right here. This is your standard one, goes park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then we've also got the option to manually shift gears. And then this other knob right here, this is how you're gonna control going from high 2 to 4-wheel drive, high 4 into low 4. When you're going off-roading, it's not entirely necessary that you go in a 4-wheel drive, but one cool thing about these Toyota off-road vehicles is that while you're in 2 high, you can switch into 4 high on the fly. So I like telling people that they can do that up to 50 miles an hour. I think realistically, you can be going faster to switch into 4 high. 50 is a pretty good speed. And all you really need to do is pull this shift lever back from high 2 to high 4. Now, when you want to go from high 4 to low 4, you do need to be completely stopped, and the transmission needs to be in neutral. And then from neutral and high 4, you can switch over into low 4. That's going to be right here. Another little pro tip we have is when we like going off-roading, we like shifting into the manual gears. It just gives us a little more control over the transmission and a little better feel of the vehicle. That's the standard high 4, low 4 gear stuff right there. But if you start looking up here towards the rear view mirror, you start seeing some of the features that you get on these TRD off-road models. So that's going to be specifically crawl control, multi-terrain select, and then we've also got some other features like traction control, your A-track, and your locking rear differential. We'll make a more thorough video, or we have another thorough video for you on the specifics of when you'd want to use any of these particular features. 2 other buttons I'm going to point out for you is on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, we've got this little toggle here that has a picture of a camera, and then it says front and rear. It's in the neutral position. If you click rear, it'll go to the rear. If you click front, it'll go to the front. If you just give it a little half click. This is gonna automatically show you, when you go into reverse, you'll see the reverse camera right here. If you're on a trail and you're at a tough angle and you can't see what's exactly in front of you, click that front-facing trail camera and you'll be able to see what's right in front of the vehicle that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see from the driver's seat. And then the last button I'll point out over here, got 400 watt AC, 120 volt, 100 watt. This is the button you're gonna wanna push to get power to that wall outlet in the back of the trunk there. So if you're charging your computer, make sure you have the engine on, you push that button, you'll get power to those rear outlets. And then lastly, I'm gonna pop the hood, show you a couple other features we have here. So right here, we've got that front-facing trail camera. Get a little muddy, just give that a little wipe off. And then I'll show you what's under the hood right here. Just right up here, we've got a dual battery system. So this would be overkill for most folks just in a standard vehicle. But what we did is we put 2 car batteries kind of in parallel right there. And what this does is it allows us to have one battery that's specifically for starting the car, running the car, and an auxiliary battery, which is running all of our accessories and electronics in the back, like the fridge. That way you don't have to worry about draining the car battery when you're running the fridge or if you're set up at camp for a while. And these batteries do communicate with each other automatically, but there's also a way with the switch right here where you can either force them to not be able to communicate or force them to communicate. But for a majority of cases, we like having it in the automatic position, and they'll talk to each other and maintain health automatically. One of the things that we're running off of the auxiliary battery is this ARB air compressor right here. So this is pretty slick. This is another one of those things that if you're gonna be using the compressor, you do wanna have the car running, and that way you're not draining either of the batteries. But we do have a little switch back here. When I hit that switch, you're gonna hear the compressor kick on. Don't be alarmed. I'm gonna turn that back off. You do wanna have the battery or the car on, that way you're not draining the batteries when you run these. So we're gonna have a thorough video on how and why we use an air compressor or why we would wanna mount it under the hood here. I'll give you the little quick and dirty on it though. So when you're going off-road, one of the things you want to keep in mind is your tire pressure. So what we like recommending in, generally most cases is lowering the pressure in the tires from their standard 33 PSI to about 19 or 20 PSI. And this has a lot of benefits. It's going to give you a smoother ride. It's going to give your tires a little less opportunity to puncture. And it's going to give you a little more traction for when you're on the trails. So when you drop that PSI down, you're getting all those benefits. When you get off the trail and you hit that pavement again, you want to be able to air your tires back up. And we want to give everybody who's renting one of these vehicles a quick and easy way to air their tires back up. And that's going to be with this compressor. And we have a whole kit of hoses and connectors that you can hook up to your tires to pump those back up. Cool. Closing the hood here. Showing you a bunch of the stuff that's easily visible on the outside of the vehicles, but there's a couple other things that make these things super special. We've definitely put a lot of weight onto these 4Runners here. We've got the rooftop tent, we've got the table, we've got the awnings, the drawer system, the fridge. Although the stock suspension would be able to make all that weight totally fine on the vehicle, we want to make sure that our customers have a little more comfortable of an experience. So what we've done is we've put about a 3-inch lift on all of our 4Runners, and we've added a slightly beefier suspension. That way you're not feeling the impact of all that weight when you're going off-road. So you've got our beefier suspension, the lift kit in there. And then just to make sure you're protected when you're on the trails, we've also put these rock sliders and skid plates underneath the vehicle, so you don't have to worry too much about scraping while you're on the trails. Just on the rear driver's side of the vehicle, got our gas tank. Totally fine to put regular gas in there while you're on your trip. And then one other thing I'll point out regarding the tires and tire pressure is if you forget what you need to air the tires up to, on the driver's side door, there's a pretty standard sticker right here that tells you exactly what PSI you should inflate those tires to. Sweet, so if you're on a trip and you forgot a little bit about how something works, or if you're trying to make a decision about which vehicle in our fleet is gonna be perfect for your adventure, I hope this vehicle helped, and we can't wait to see you on your next adventure.